Again, I assume you can find the PowerPoint from the website. If you don't, you should go back to my posting and to find out where to find all the PowerPoint from the website. Okay. And this is the kind of organized way or quick way and to get you going through the content of the chapter. And the chapter is really and talking about the parameters and objects and how we continue write a Java programs. Okay. So we have been writing each individual programs, right? And the one example here was like we built a class, okay? And like in Codiva, we build a class. Maybe I'll move the things here. Here we go. And so like in the Codiva here, right? And we are writing each of the code here. And I want you to continue build your digital portfolio here, okay? And we actually started about the method in the overall, and I've been asking you was to say, what's the organization of a program? And one good example here, we did, not this one here, maybe in chapter 1, we talk about it in chapter 1, and we're talking about static method. So the overall structure of any Java program is on the outside, we have a class, right? So we begin with a class, and where we end with the class is the last line here. Okay, this is the end of the class. So line 3 is beginning of the class, and line 24 is the end of the class. Now, what's inside the class is each of the methods. So we have one method here, and we have another method here, and we have another method here. So within the class, we have 3 methods, okay? Now, each method, right, they start with the header, and then they end with the right closing brace here. And inside the method, it's what we call the statement, okay? So that's the structure of each of the program. And in this chapter, we are talking about to say why we need a method. Okay, so we further talking about why we need a method, right? The reason was that when we see we need to use some code again and again and again, and then we, instead of like writing the code, like print, okay, the certain line of 3, okay, print certain, print line of the, you know, the size are different. So here we actually in the chapter 1, we're talking about we are using the method to write, to actually write different print method here, okay? Now, the different print method here is that we could use this method again and again, but every time they are writing exactly the same line, okay? So the question here we study further in this chapter is, well, what if we want to still write a line of stars, but with a different size? Okay, with a different size. So this is going through further. right? And um, in our chapter 1, we try to get rid of the redundant by said every time we print a triangle here, right? But this triangle is a size of kind of a 3 nines. So what if we want to print, instead of 3 nines, we want to print 5 lines of triangle. We want to print different size of triangle. So that's the question this chapter tried to study was, yes, we like the code here, we like the method here, okay? And we like to reuse the method of printing a triangle. But what if we want a different size of triangle here? Okay, and so that's what you are reading the content here to say there's one way, and we try to solve this problem is to say, all right, we're gonna write a line, but then every time we know exactly how many lines we are writing here. So what if we want to have just one method, and you can just tell me how many lines you want to print, and then the methods can do it. All right, seems like we have a question here. So go ahead and ask me the questions.
Hello, I have a question. So this one, like you are saying, we have to do homework and quizzes and homework. So there is a pattern on homework thing. So in Kodiva, do we do the same way that you are doing it, or do we do the homework thing?
I didn't quite get the questions.
Like,
I'm talking about right now how you are studying for each chapter. So when you first study for each chapter, you need to going through the content of the chapter, okay, by reading the book and by going through the PowerPoint. That's what I try to say now.
yeah,
Did you
but
guys
my,
all doing that? Okay, then let's continue. Okay, how I'm demonstrate to each one of you how you are supposed to do it. First of all, we try to understand it. Okay, and then I want to see the action here. And then I want to see the action here. Okay. Now let's go back to understand why we need a parameter. Okay. And so again, the purpose of redoing the parameter is try to reduce the redundant code. So we can use the code again and again and again. And a parameter, one parameter, it's a value passed to a method by its caller. So we will tell the method how many lines we want to print. So if we pass a number 7, it will print 7 stars. If we pass the number 13, it will print total number of 13 stars in a line. Okay, and so the way we declare a parameter is we will have public static void, and then we'll give a name, and then the parameter is a pair. It's a type and the name. And then the same way we're going to do the method, beginning of the method here and end of the method here. Okay, so that's the way we can declare a parameter. And after we create a method, then we can pass a parameter by using the name and expression. For example, we can say the name of the method is called say password, and then we can pass an expression here, or the expression means that it will end up with some value, and so we can pass 42, or we can pass 1 2 3 4 5 if that the type is integer here. And so again, this is an example. We are asking how many times you will say just a salad, right? It's a chant. Okay, so how we do that is we have a method, okay? And with a parameter called, it's an integer parameter, so that's a type, and that's the name of the variable. And in our code, instead of we type 7, 13, or whatever, we're using a variable called times. So if you give me a 3 in the main method, then this will print 3 times. If you give me 5, then this will print 5 times. Okay, so that's why, and this is so useful to have just one method, and in addition to a parameter, and we can actually use this in as many ways as we want to. All right, so after we are reading so far on here, okay, they gave the examples here, right? So again, as I say, you can pass to 3, you can pass a 7, and then they will do different way. And then we can do, after that, we should start using the Codiva and see how this is worked. So, and then you can go back, pause here, and start, see testing if you understand the code here, right? And so what we can do here, and we can do the add. I'm gonna close all this. Okay, so I can start add, right? And this is a chapter 2 I'm adding. And so let's have an example. And the example, we can call this print lines, okay? And or anything you want to create. So I'm gonna call this print lines, and I can create. And so here, first of all, we change this to public, okay? And we will delete this one because we're going to use this. So right now I have one method. It's called main, okay? And inside the main, there's nothing. So this main method is doing nothing, right? So that's one method. And then after this method, we can create another method. So we can call this public static void, and we can call print, okay? In the print, and we can give a parameter, and we can call this size. Okay. And in here, it's pretty much we gave a type. Remember, this is a parameter, okay? And the size, it tells me, how long the line will be. Okay, so we'll give a size. And so in the parameter, it's a pair. It's a type with the name of the parameter. Okay, the name of the parameter, we can treat them as a variable. And with that, and we can simply do a for loop. We'll say for I equals 0, I less than the size, I plus plus, okay? And then we'll do system.out.print, just print, okay? And then we can print many stars here. So instead of writing 3, instead of writing 7, and we simply just print, okay, with the size. Size is a variable. And at the end, we will print a new line, okay? So that it's actually print one line here. And so you can see from here to here, we create a method called print, simply called print, right? And this print with one parameter, and that gives me a size. So after we create this method called print, then we can call the method. So we can call print and give a size of 3. So they were supposed to print 3 stars, or we can do print 7, right? Or we can do print 11. So every time we pass in 3 here, that 3 is the value of size. So therefore, they print 3 stars. And if we pass in 7 here, and the value of size will be 7. And so they will print 7 stars. If we pass in 11 here, and the size is becoming 11, and they will print 11 stars. Okay, and so when we run this one, you should see they print 3 stars, 7 stars, and 11 stars. And this is the way I want you to following my videos here, my talks here, and do this yourself.